because I'm going to be talking about something that is incredibly important for all of our personal health, and that is our quality of sleep. So, if you're a person who's been struggling with finding good sleep patterns, and this is going to be the video that's going to make a big change for you. It's not going to cost a lot of money. It's just going to take a little bit of activity and a little bit of mindset. Now, my name is Ja-On Hillman. I'm a healthcare entrepreneur, and personally, I work with a lot of people who are struggling on a day-to-day basis with their health, with their wellness, and how they're getting through the day. And when it comes down to it, mental health, mental energy, those are some of the biggest things that people are struggling with on a daily basis. Now, personally, myself, I like to think that I can walk the walk a little bit, but there's a lot of times when, sometimes life kind of gets out of hand. Things get a little bit crazy. Christmas comes along, and, maybe your sleep patterns fall apart a little bit. Sorry, I gave you a good little kick here. But when it comes down to it, sleep is a vital component for maintaining longevity and for your health. So, what was I doing wrong? And that was really the big thing. I was having a hard time coming to terms with. I was ignoring it. I wasn't paying attention to it, and I was staying up too late. I was just doing some of the wrong habits. So, a little bit of what was actually happening was I was getting to bed a little bit too late, about 10:45, going to sleep. Now, I'd wake up, or at least try to wake up, at about 6 o'clock, and that's when I would set my alarm. So my alarm would go up at 6 o'clock, and I would hit snooze until about 7:15 some days. So it was turning to a real problem because, as you know, those snooze times aren't very restful. They don't give you a lot of quality sleep. They don't give you any of the energy, and they're not very restorative. It's just kind of like your body's way of naturally, grudgingly putting off the day and trying to stay in bed. So it doesn't really give you any real benefit towards improving your lifestyle. So some of the things I tried to work with personally to kind of improve the quality of sleep was, things from, magnesium powder. And as if you know, those things can be very beneficial too, but you need to drink it with water typically if you're using a powder. So now it was disrupting my sleep even more because I was waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom a few times. Now that doesn't really work when you're trying to improve your quality of sleep because now you're waking up on a continual basis just to have to go pee. So that was it was a help, but I needed to monitor it a little bit more. I did try a little bit of CBD oil and THC oil, and maybe that helped some days. Some days it didn't help. Quite often, it would just make me feel just very groggy, even worse when I woke up in the morning. I would feel like I would have a heavy sleep, but then I would have a harder time waking up in the morning to get moving forward with the day. So it was quite a struggle dealing with that. One of the other things I worked with was the common thing was it's called melatonin. Now, if you've ever used melatonin, you know it can work very well. But the problem is your body very quickly adapts to it, and when you stop using it, you start having sleep pattern problems again. So this is not something you want to use on a daily basis. This is something that can be useful when you want to, really get a good solid sleep, maybe on a weekend or if you have a day off or something like that. It is a powerful tool that you can use to kind of get you moving along a little bit better. But on a regular basis, it's not so beneficial. Okay, so I also tried some, mindfulness. I tried meditation. I tried all of those different things before bed to see if I could improve some of the sleep patterns. Even covered the eye covers, those wonderful eye covers that that I used to make fun of for people wearing. That was what old people wore, right? And I was definitely not, in my mind, an old person that warranted having to follow those habits. But at that point in time, I was just more than willing to try anything, and it actually helped a certain amount, but it wasn't a big game changer. So what I'm going to actually share with you is the number one thing that I did to optimize my sleep patterns, and surprisingly, it made a drastic change in just one day. One day it made a big change. So for the last few years, I've been using my iPhone and using a program called as it was sleep tracking program, uh, sleep alarm, or sleep cycle. That's what it was, and it tracks the analytics of your sleep patterns. So it monitors how much you're tossing and turning, how restless you are. It monitors any noises, whether you're snoring or things like that that could be disrupting your sleep. So I mean, if you're having sleep apnea, it's going to record it, so then you know that there's something that you need to pursue and to take a look at yourself. So it's a very powerful tool. And as I started looking at it, I started realizing that my sleep pattern was not coexisting well with when I wanted to wake up. So if I'd set my alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning, it would actually have a half-hour window of which it would wake up. Okay, so bear with me on this. I will explain. So if you set it for 6 o'clock, you'll wake up potentially anytime between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, depending where you are in your sleep cycle. If you are in a deep sleep cycle, it's going to hold it off until you wake up or until you're getting out of that deep sleep cycle. If you're in a light sleep cycle, it's going to wake you up a lot quicker. So for myself, it was waking up the last possible minute because that's the last, your last chance to wake up. The alarm would go off and say, you got to wake up now. It is your deadline to wake up regardless. But that was also when I was in a deep sleep pattern. So I'd wake up groggy, I'd wake up with the brain fog. I'd just, be struggling to get some coffee into my system as soon as I could and drag for a good 2 to 3 hours before some of the energy levels would start coming up. And then I would feel good, for the most part, but still not at full capacity, not something that I wanted to be working out on a regular basis. So that was when I started looking at the analytics and going, okay, how can I shift this? How can I make it so that I'm waking up in a better sleep cycle, and so I can wake up in a lighter sleep cycle in a portion of the day. So I actually shifted it 20 minutes. Okay, so I shifted it from 10:45 to 10:25. Okay, and I was like, let's try this. Let's see what kind of shift it can make. And surprisingly, the next morning I woke up at 5:30 before my alarm even went off, just like a minute before, which was amazing because I woke up wide awake, full of energy, kind of looking up at the dark ceiling because the lights are still off, going, what the hell just happened here? Why am I awake? It's to check my clock. I'm like, it's like now it's going off. It's 5:30 and I'm wide awake. This is pretty phenomenal. This is an amazing change for just shifting 20 minutes. Because remember, I was waking up, grudgingly at 6 o'clock and really crawling out of bed by about 7 o'clock. So that really chopped off, at least an hour and 15 minutes of poor sleep patterns. Okay, so I'm going, well, this can't really be the thing. Let's try this as a scientific experiment and try and see what's going on. So for the next week, I continued doing that pattern, going to sleep 20 minutes early. Sure enough, wake up at 5:30 just before the alarm. Go to sleep at the same time, 10:20 or 10:25, wake up just before the alarm every single day consistently. And I'm going, wow, like this has made a drastic change, and it's actually saving me time and giving me more energy to accomplish my day. So it's a phenomenal thing. So now the science comes in, okay? And this is where the failure started coming in, and how much it really validated how much benefit it had. So that weekend, the night before, I decided I was going to enjoy an alcoholic beverage. Okay, so I had just a little ounce of actually bourbon, and I sipped on it for the evening. Went to bed about 20 minutes later. Sure enough, I couldn't get my butt out of bed until 9 o'clock in the morning. I was struggling to crawl out of bed. It was ridiculous. It was like, wow, like, okay, if that isn't a clear indicator that there's something going on, I don't know what is. Okay, so the next night it's like, okay, no more alcohol. Let's just see what's going to happen if I go to sleep at 10:45. Okay, so went to bed at the time that I used to. Next day I couldn't wake up. 7 o'clock came around. I was like, oh, I still don't want to wake up. This is horrible. Okay, so that's pretty good indicators. Okay, the next night went to bed at my usual time, no alcohol whatsoever, and woke up, no problem, 5:30. Wow, right? Like that's pretty phenomenal. But science always works best when you can reproduce the experiment and see if it's a change. So that's what we did. The next day or the next week, woke up the next weekend on Friday, had an alcoholic beverage. Same thing, couldn't wake up in the morning. Okay, this isn't a big indicator that certain things that I'm doing that are not good for how I want to perform. These are the things I need to take out of my lifestyle. So made a huge difference. Now I'm waking up consistently at about 5:30. Sometimes I'll sleep in a little bit more. I'll do a little bit of meditation before bed, a little bit of meditation first thing in the morning, and finding that I've got an incredible amount of energy compared to where I was 2 months ago. So that's number one of my experiments. I'm working on a few other ones right now, and I'm going to be commenting on them right into here. I'm going to give you some of the updates and some of the details on what I'm doing after accomplishment and what the results were over the period of time. And the big focus is to optimize the entrepreneurial optimize the entrepreneurial mindset of people so that we can start having better, more productive lives and improve the health care of our entire well-being as well. Now, if you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe to my video because I'm going subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be doing some more videos. As I said, things could be ranging from healthcare and also to wealth care. Some of the things I've got on the run. And if you want to get in touch with me, please, by all means, comment below, send an email. Love to contact and get in contact with some people and connect a little bit more on this fantastic YouTube experience. And otherwise, we'll see you at the next video. Thank you very much.